Welcome to the Sideline Podcast. We've got AFC West draft needs. We've got our TSP mock draft 2.0, NHL, NBA playoff predictions. But first, we've got some unfinished business. We left our nice little cliffhanger last week. Anybody who's still watching along this week, welcome back to the show. And we ended the show last week with our teams 1 through 6 drafted. We left out the Commanders just because we figured they'd probably all be our picks because, one year removed from the NFC Championship game. But I left my pick until tonight, probably because I needed more time because you guys all took the Raiders. So it was a little bit chalky with the Raiders. I'm not going to go the Raiders. Can't go the Jets. Can't go the Cardinals. Titans are interesting, but I'm actually going to take the New York Giants. I hate to say it as an NFC East homer, but I just think with Harbaugh, year 2 of Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors was out all of last season, or he played a couple games, but Scatabo, I just think they've got some pieces to go from a top 5 draft pick to the playoffs. So not saying it happens, but if they get a little bit of a year 2 lead from Jackson Dart, I can definitely see it. So
how are you guys doing? Potential that our mock draft actually supports that.
There we go. Would love to hear it. How's your Saturday going, fellas?
It's going good, man. It's Saturday, talking ball. It's good.
Flyers, Penguins updates. Battle for Pennsylvania, 0-0. Flyers are leading 20-11 in the hits category, so you'd love to see that. We're going to get into some NHL, NBA predictions here shortly. Tonight, we've got our What's Trending in Sports, which we mentioned there. We'll get into our predictions. Talk a little Yankees, Dodgers dominance. We've got our TSP 2.0 mock draft, and then we'll finish up the show. Pretty NFL heavy tonight. We don't have much college. We've got college prospects, but no main college section. Missing Booker tonight, missing Duffy tonight, but we've got Tyler at Mr. Diesel 31 here in the middle, at ALO Leagues there on the right. Give those guys a follow on X, and let's get right into it here. So. I mean, let's just jump into our NHL. Not into our NHL. Let's get into some more trading. I think one thing I didn't put in the notes that I wanted to at least touch on is how about that Will Hunter Jr. contract? And we talked about CJ not getting the mega deal, picking up the 5th-year option. Reason being is because they're going to give $50 per year to the edge rusher, which I think is well earned. He probably won't start making that money for like 2 more years. So by that time, the salary cap's, who knows, north of $400 million or something like that. So is that an overpay or is he well worth it? He's been incredible for the Texans so far, but you think that's a little bit of an overpay or smart move for them locking it up, Tyler?
I think it's the smart move. That is a wrecking crew. You have him with Danielle Hunter. I think they could have a good draft and give Stroud some pieces, but they got to see before they make any decisions on that. And when you look at their head coach, when you look at the culture he wants to build there, I think that he would rather be stout on that defensive side and then give some pieces and see what happens with CJ Stroud. I think it's the right move. I think it's a no-brainer and easy to lock him up and keep that tenacious defense going for years to come.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And it's smart when you see teams, GMs, coaches, like you said there. You have a defensive-minded coach, give him a defense, and you can figure it out on offense. We've seen the last 2 Super Bowl champions, Seahawks and Eagles, with ridiculously good defenses. So, everybody wants a flashy offense. That's what the Dolphins were trying to do there with Tua and Tyreek and Waddle, and we see that maybe building in the trenches is the sorry for the gratuitous shot there. Oh, I saw a little too much Jalen Hurts in the notes from you this week. So Tyler, what do you think the over under is on how many times he triggers me with Jalen Hurts talk?
Minimum, it's a 3. We're going to go 3. Over and under to 3, and it's going to be tough to take the under in that position.
So is that a 3 or are you going 3.5? Because you got to do it.
It's 3.5. You're right. I got to get the half point in there.
You're
3.5
or 3. All right. That under is going to be real tricky. But let's get into some baseball stuff. We're not a big baseball show, but these 2 teams are incredible. I don't have their records pulled up, but should we just fast forward in Major League Baseball to a Dodgers Yankees World Series because they are looking unstoppable right now. I know the hype before the season was all about the Dodgers, and they clearly, they're not going to go undefeated, but it's hard to, Colorado tried. I saw they had today 3 inches of snow on the field before that game. So maybe that's a way to slow down the Dodgers. But Alo, what do you think? Should we just fast forward to October? Can I officially take a snooze on my baseball fandom, or is there anything else happening in the baseball world that we want to talk about?
No, I mean, you might as well walk into October because the Dodgers and Yankees are going to be there in the World Series. And I know people don't want to hear this, but the Dodgers are going to win it again. I mean, Ohtani's probably going to win an MVP again. The man, I'm pretty sure he's got no runs allowed. I mean, dude, he's like the Babe Ruth, but can pitch. It's crazy. Like, the man is unstoppable. Yeah, I think they're going to win. They're going to three-peat. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Let me stir the pot a little bit as Indiana and New York don't have the best relationship. New York has struggled in the playoffs, though. I don't know a lot about baseball, but I know there's been some hype around that team the past few years, and they have found a way to not get through. Maybe Tyrese Halliburton can show them a little something about what happens. We don't, but I don't have any skin in the game. We don't have a team. But I will say this: I know enough to know New York has not made it through as high as the expectations have been.
Well, Booker's not here to defend himself, so you can roast all that you want. But I will give a slight spoiler on his predictions here. Pretty New York heavy on both teams. So let's jump in here first to our NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. And we're a little bit late. We're a Saturday show, and so the playoffs have already started. So, but we're, half a game, we've had at most one game played in any of these series. So give us a break, any trolls on the internet. We're going to make our NHL and NBA predictions. So let's start with Alo. What do you think here in this Stanley Cup bracket? Who you liking? Who you picking as your Stanley Cup champion this year?
So I got the Florida Panthers didn't make it, unfortunately. So I'm going to ride with the Tampa Bay Lightning, my second option for Florida. And then Colorado Avalanche have been the best team in the whole NHL. So I think they make it. But I think it's going to be between them two. And I think the Lightning have a lot of experience. They've been in the championship a lot. I know Colorado has won recently, but as a Florida fan, I'm going to be biased. And I think the Lightning take the whole thing.
Tyler, who you taking?
I'll say 4-2. I'll say 4-2.
4-2. All right.
Ooh, get a series on there too.
Yeah.
So for me, I did some looking into this because I'm not a big NHL guy. I've dabbled in it this season. I've watched some games. It's fun. I like it. I need to get a little bit more invested into it. Find a team to track. Chicago, I think, is my closest one. But I'm as easy as you, Kevin. Just tell me where should I land. But it looks like Colorado is the OKC of the NHL. Am I safe to say that? Am I going to get tomatoes thrown at me from NHL fans? But it seems like they're the best roster. It seems like they have the best odds, but that's just boring for me. Give me a little fun. Give me a little excitement. Give me Vegas Golden Knights at 10-1 to get in there. Let the bracket get weird and find a way to shock everyone.
I like it. And Vegas, similar to Florida Panthers, I mean, if they limp into the playoffs, they're going to be a different team come playoff time. So I don't watch a lot of hockey during the regular season, but I mean, my Flyers are in, so I'm watching every game except for right now because we're on here. But definitely going to be watching most of these NHL playoff games because they are just, especially this year with teams scoring 7-8 goals a night. It might not be that a high scoring in the playoffs just because of playing more intense defense. But yeah, I'm all about some NHL. NFL is king during the NFL season, but this time of year, this is one of my favorite times of year because you've got almost every night of the week we have either an NHL or an NBA playoff game from now until like June, and so really, really like this time of year. We get a lot of playoff action, games that mean a lot. So, but not much disagreement here. Booker and I are both taking the Buffalo Sabres to win it all. I didn't get who he has the Sabres playing in the Stanley Cup. I do think it's the Avalanche. I think it's I think it's Colorado and Buffalo in the Stanley Cup Finals. I wanted to take the Flyers. I think I have them going to like the semifinals, but I mean, the nicest thing about the Flyers is like they've got no expectations. I mean, the Sixers have expectations. People are still pissed about the Eagles, but I mean, they're just house money. Like anything they do in the playoffs, I saw they're wearing some shirts that say 3.5% because at the end of the Winter Olympics, there was their percentage to make the playoffs. So super fun team. Tyler, come on over. A lot of young players, a lot of goal scoring. Sure, they might put up a couple zeros at some point in this playoffs, but they are an exciting team to watch. So come on over. The water is warm. I don't have a prediction from Duffy, but we'll have to get his next time he's on the show, and just he'll be an honest man and tell us who it was. So, all right, let's jump over to the association. We've got the NBA playoffs. I saw KD is out tonight, game 1 against the Lakers. We had some exciting play-in games in the first round. I love seeing my son, the wheels turn of like he's connecting the dots between the play-in games and like the first 4 in the March Madness, and he's got his little bracket. We did a little NBA, NHL kind of bracket last year, but it just, I don't know. Everybody loves doing brackets for March Madness. It's not as much hype, I think, for this time of year. But looking at our bracket here, obviously the Thunder were champions last year. Tyler, why don't you kick us off with this one? Who you like in the NBA playoffs? Who's going to make it to the finals, and who's going to win it all?
All right, so like I said, the dark horses always intrigue me. OKC is this juggernaut that doesn't seem like it can be stopped. I think personally, me, I love to be biased, so I think the Pacers could have stopped them last year had the unfortunate event of Halliburton hadn't happened, and this would probably then be their year to go get it as a dominant team. That being said, they got it done last year. They're just so stacked. They're so well built, and they mesh so well off each other. I can't take it away from them. They are a great team. But give me the San Antonio Spurs actually to come out of the West. Wemby finds his way to his first finals, gets that experience against, as much as I hate to say it, I think the Knicks find a way to get into the finals with Indiana not being in there. Again, I love to be biased. We have always been the monkey on their back, and now we're cleared out of the way. Does New York find a way to sneak in there? I think so. And then Wemby actually gets his first championship, even though it's his first appearance.
He said New York Knicks. See, my problem looking at this is I've got Boston and then I've got New York in the second round. Both just every year have eliminated the Sixers for the last while. And so it's not looking good. If this team goes anywhere, it is truly a team of destiny. I think the Thunder repeat as champions, except if they play the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals, I think the Spurs will get it. They've got a 4-1 record against the Thunder this year. Yeah, that's the regular season, but I think there's something to styles make fights, and this Spurs team, they actually want the Thunder, and they could do something about it, where I don't think the 76ers are going to be able to do much about Boston in the first round, especially with no Embiid. But yeah, give me the Thunder to repeat, but if they play the Spurs, I agree with you, Tyler. I think the Spurs get to their first NBA Finals in a minute and turn back the clock. So, Alo, who you thinking, who you picking for the NBA Finals?
Yeah, I think OKC has two easy first rounds. Like the first round's easy, the second round's easy. But then when it gets to the semifinals, I think they're going to be playing the Spurs. And I think the Spurs, I agree with Tyler. I think they make it to the finals, except I don't have the Knicks making it the finals this year. I have the Celtics. I'll tell you why. I saw Jaylen Brown take a team without Jason Tatum to the second. I mean, people were thinking that they were going to tank and get, especially in this class. I mean, I wouldn't have blamed them, but they got the second overall. They're second in the division, or in the whole NBA, in the East at least. I mean, yeah, the East is awful, but they were second, and they had no Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum comes back now. He's had a couple games. He's gotten that scare out of the way. I just think they're too much for the Knicks. And the Knicks in the playoffs, I mean, they kind of But Wemby gets NBA Finals MVP, and the Spurs win. I just think with Castle and Fox, it's too much for them.
Yeah. And I'd say look out for Detroit, because when has a 1 seed had this little hype? Or I haven't been listening to a whole lot of mainstream NBA pundits, but I'm guessing there's not a whole lot of people out there picking the Pistons to go on a run. And as a 1 seed, a 60-win team, Cade Cunningham playing like an MVP, like because they don't have the pressure, like they're a 1 seed without pressure. That to me, and they have a lot of wings. I think they could surprise some folks, especially with their half of the bracket. I think it shakes out pretty nicely for the Pistons, home field advantage. I'm not picking them, but I think that could be you can't call a 1 seed a dark horse, but I think that they're an interesting team with how they've done this year, and then the national narrative around them. I'm curious to see how that shakes out. So, all right, let's get into it. I don't think I had anything else in trending. Flyers, Penguins still 0-0. Couple games earlier today, but we won't get into that. We'll stay nice and focused here tonight the best we can. So
I think the Flyers, I owe them some vibes. As much as I've given you a hard time about A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, I probably am due to give some Flyer support out here.
Well, I appreciate that. So, all right, let's get into it. So here is, without further ado, here's a big reveal of our TSP 2.0 mock draft. There it is in all of its glory. Thank you, pff.com/mock for this sweet little mock simulator. So let's kick this off while folks are looking around. And this is a sad time of year. We got to say goodbye to mock season, like all these mock drafts. And now this is the week. We got a first round starting Thursday night. Some lives are going to be changed. So, again, we won't go through pick by pick. We'll have to post this on X here, tomorrow or sometime, and folks can look at it that way as well. But I know we did our 1.0. You guys did that right before NFL free agency, and we had a little fun with it of like, hey, this is way too early to be doing a mock draft. Now that the dust is settled in the NFL free agency, Tyler, why don't you kick us off? What were the main changes you made from your 1.0 to your 2.0, and which picks are you really feeling solid about this time around?
So you got in my ear a little bit. My love for Jeremiah Love started to grow after we talked last week. And so I think we kept it pretty close. Obviously, Mendoza, not getting off that wagon. I'm going to keep him going to the Raiders. I think Aaron Glenn, he has an identity that he wants to build. Arvil Reese, all that stays the same. Cardinals, David Bailey, give him some juice on defensive end. But then here's where it really became a swap, was Jeremiah Love going to the Titans. I love the idea of pairing. You could argue the value of a running back in today's NFL and how it all works out. But I think you could take a lot of pressure off of Cam Ward. And so I really like that theory. So I went with it, went ahead and swapped that out. The other thing I love here, I don't think this is going to change at all. This is why I support your theory about the Giants making it in. Carnell Tate, add him to that already dynamic offense with Neighbors and Dart, and you could really, really have something. Harbaugh could cook up some offense over there. Another one that I really liked, I swapped up a little bit here, was I had the Chiefs actually taking Ruben Bain Jr. So like that on defensive end, create some more chaos and let Spags cook over there.
I like that. And then, let's go over here to Alo. Same question. Here's your mock draft up close. What were your main changes and how you feeling here? 5 days away from these picks happening. You're going 32 for 32, right?
Yeah. No, if I go 32 for 32, we're all going on ESPN.
There we go.
But, no, I mean my main one. I'm gonna say this. I wanted the Chiefs to get Ruben Bain, but I gotta give him Jordan Tyson. The reason why is because Xavier Worthy worries me. Bryce, oh my goodness, it's like every offseason or year he's doing something wrong. He's in the news for something bad. So I got them taking Jordan Tyson. And honestly, if it wasn't for Jordan Tyson's being injury prone, I think he'd be the best wide receiver in the class, to be honest. Another issue that I can only imagine this wide receiver room, man, but Lemon and Puka.
I saw that. I thought that was interesting. Like Devontae Adams is still there, man, but that'd be nice.
No,
for the next 2 years. That'd be nice.
I mean, the reason why I wanted to do that is because, with the Puka news, like don't get me wrong, he is by far probably the best wide receiver in the league. When he's on the field, he's so productive. But the problem is recently off the field, I mean, he's biting people. He's going to rehab. I just don't know if you can. I mean, yes, he's so good, but I don't know if you can give him all that money. And fortunately for the Rams, they really don't need a lot of like positions. I mean, they're very, very good. So why not just take a chance on Lemon? He looks like he's going to be good if you could put him in. I mean, who's going to be bad with McVay's offense, right? So I would definitely take him. Another one. This is a big one, and I did it because they need a quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers is iffy. I don't know if he's going to come back or if he's not, and they need to look into the future. And I mean, Dan Orlovsky thinks this guy is going to be better than Fernando Mendoza. Do I think that? Absolutely not. But I think it's in Pittsburgh. The draft is in Pittsburgh. Those fans need something to cheer about. I know they're a little scared because that's when Kenny Pickett got picked, and he was awful. But yeah, I'm going Ty Simpson to the Steelers. I think they need a quarterback. There's no doubt about it. They can't just take another year with Aaron Rodgers. Now they have a new coach. And then the other one, this one, I know Kevin's not gonna like it, but I got Denzel Boston going to the Eagles because I truly believe that AJ Brown will not be there after June 1st. But and I mean, what's wrong with Denzel Boston? He's 6'4". He's super fast. I mean, if your team's really like that, you're just switching one guy for another. I mean, he's younger. Hopefully, he is what AJ Brown is. And if he's 75% of it, you'll be fine because he's only like 22 years old. And then just because it's my Dolphins, we need a lot of things, but I know people want to scream at me and say, "Oh, Alo, we need a wide receiver." I mean, we need a lot of things. We need a lot. But I'm gonna go with Mansour Delane out of LSU. I think I'm pretty sure he's like 6'1". I mean, we need that. Yes, I'm not sold on Malik Willis being a quarterback. I'm hoping for a 2027 quarterback, but at least you set the defense up. And with the 30th pick, I have them taking Emmanuel Pregon from Oregon, the guard. At least set up your defense and offensive line, and then you could work around with the wide receivers later on. But yeah, that's really what I got.
Boston giving me some JJ Arcega-Whiteside vibes. I don't remember who was in that draft class. It wasn't the Justin Jefferson year. That was Jalen Reagor. But I think then the next year they went like Arcega-Whiteside and Jalen Reagor, and then missed out on Justin Jefferson. I mean, like all time rough. So when I see Denzel Boston, Pac-12 big body receiver, I'm like, no, thank you. I do not want that guy. Ask the Titans how that worked out with was it Treylon Burks? Let's trade the first round pick. We'll get a wide receiver. We'll get rid of AJ Brown. That'll work out well for us. So yeah, I'm still holding the line. I don't think he gets traded. I think the value's not going to be there. He's scheduling kid camps in Philly. He's out buying flowers. Like, he's chilling. I think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. It's hard to trust rumors these days in the NFL world. So we'll just leave it at that on which rumors are true. But it's a good segue too. I was going to pull it up. It's like NFL rumors. They spell it kind of funny or something like that. I thought I saw something from them today. The Cardinals and the Titans looking to maybe trade back. And it's hard to project trades in mock drafts and even in the NFL. Sometimes we think teams are going to be super active. I feel like oftentimes those trades are for like when there's 3 top quarterbacks, teams are going to make a move. So like when we pull up this draft board here, when I see 3 or 4, I'm like, is somebody going to move up? Unless you're just trying to get in front of, somebody for one of those edge rushers. But I just have a hard time seeing somebody moving up to 3 or 4 when I see 3 really good edge rushers there. I guess, maybe if you think those top 3 guys are a little bit better than Ruben Bain. But I think it's a good edge rusher class. And so I don't know. Do you think, what have you guys been seeing on X? Do you think there's any big trades this week? And what team should we be looking at to maybe swoop in and take the Cardinals and the Titans up on their offer? This is all a bunch of smoke and mirrors.
I mean, I was just going to say that I personally think this will be the year where there's not a lot of trades, the least amount of trades, because most of the time when you do make trades, it's because you're going to get your franchise quarterback. And me personally, I only think there's Fernando Mendoza that's going to be the franchise quarterback. I mean, if Dan Orlowski was here, he would tell me I'm crazy, but I do not think Ty Simpson is that guy. I do think Fernando Mendoza is, and I just don't. A lot of these teams need quarterbacks, besides the Chiefs, of course, and the Commanders, and of course the Giants and Titans. But a lot of the teams in the middle of the pack, they need quarterbacks. So I just don't see them reaching for a quarterback this year. I mean, next year we could be seeing a lot of trades with the hype. You never know. Maybe that class becomes bad because of the college season. But as of this class, I don't see a lot of trades. I don't.
Yeah, especially when you can get Caleb Downs at the 10 pick.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's the Jeremiah Love. I don't know if that's where you were about to take that, Tyler. But it's like, would the Chiefs want to jump up ahead of the Commanders or the Saints to take somebody like Love? But I don't know. For one of those three edge rushers in a pretty deep edge rusher class, I'm not sure that's who you're trading up for. So it's always who's that player you're going to get. And likely it would need to be a team not going very far, like a Chiefs. Hey, we'll give you, a third-round pick and some kind of conditional something next year to make that. Yeah. They're not going to get multi-first-round picks like it would be, hey, there's three really good quarterbacks, and we want to go get one of them, and we're going to get a king's ransom for it. But, Tyler, what were you about to say there?
Well, if you look at the breaking stuff, you're following Shefty, you're following the other ones. Dexter Lawrence in the last hour was announced he's traded to the Bengals for a straight-up swap on their 10th pick. So the Giants are now sitting on 5 and 10. So there is a world where they grab Carnell Tate and then still add another top 10 pick. It's a big move. It's a big move.
Wow, I just saw that. Wow, that's huge actually.
Yeah, that's crazy.
A darn Schefter on that. I mean, that's the real deal. So wow, there we go. The Bengals making moves. I mean, we were talking about, them taking a Caleb Downs or getting a defensive player there. But I love getting somebody like Dexter Lawrence. Obviously, they missed out on paying Trey Hendrickson big money. But, hey, let's get some sexy Dexy in there and a proven all-pro player who can, help the Bengals immediately, I think is a solid move for them. So, wow, that's awesome. Way to go, Tyler, breaking and that here.
It plays right into it. I think where the Bengals were, they could get splashy there and look for a defensive guy. But like you said, you bring in Dexter Lawrence, you're going to get immediate impact from that. You have a proven NFL star that is basically what you're trading for in that top 10. And there's a world where they can still address the offensive line or the defense in that second round. There are going to be good value picks where they are to address those other needs. So I love this for him. I think it's a great splash. I also love it for the Giants, actually. I think the Giants come out ahead on this. This is a win-win for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So who do we think the Giants are going to take there then at 10? I can't remember if you said that or not, but if they're now on the clock at 10, they're obviously, I don't think they're going to be packing. No, they don't need a quarterback. I was like, what if the Giants went crazy for Fernando? But yeah, they got Jackson Dart. So that's not happening. I think they just stay there and take the value. But who do we think the Giants then are going to take at 10?
Well, I was going to say now I agree with Tyler. I think they go 5, they go Carnell Tate, and I think they move up. And I think they go and get David Bailey. I mean, man, can you imagine that? Now you have David Bailey, Carnell Tate. And yeah, I'm not going to lie, Lawrence is good, but he's older. He's about 32, 33, 31. So he's older. Now you're getting your young receiver, your young edge. I mean, dude, that's a great trade for them. I'm not going to lie. I like that.
Yeah, you could see that. That's then now you're absolutely right. You have the chance to jump up into the top 5 easily from that 10th position. So, we have some precedent for that. That's how the Houston Texans swung it around so fast. They took Stroud and then they took Will Anderson. And so look how that's worked out for them. So same strategy. You get Carnell Tate. You feel good about Jackson Dart, obviously, based on everything how it went last year, even without Neighbors. So, yeah, I think this is a big swing. You know what you have in that head coach. And, yeah, they may end up back on the top there, getting an edge, getting an offensive star. Oof. Watch out for the Giants. Kevin, you might have hit it.
I might have. And let me see. Yeah, Carnell. I feel like if they landed Carnell Tate and Caleb Downs, that would be like two of the safest picks in the first round. And also, I mean, Caleb Downs is like probably pretty high, top 3 overall player on a lot of people's boards. They're just not going to take a safety that high, but he's a really good player. So, yeah, that would really set them up for the next decade plus. So, that's unfortunate. I don't want to be right on something like that, but that's looking all too real of, I don't know. I hear you, Alo, and maybe they make a move and push up a little further, but I think you just pick at 5 and 10. There's good value there. They're not going for a quarterback. Like, you can get 2 really, really high quality players at 5 and 10. And like you guys said, be like the Texans 2.0 and get those 2 top 5 or 2 top 10 picks. And you're set for a while. So yeah, going to be interesting what the Giants do. They're making moves.
They put them in a great position for sure.
And I'm sure we'll pull back into some of this, as we get into some draft needs here. There'll obviously be some overlap. But any final thoughts on your mock 2.0 before we pivot a little bit to the AFC West draft needs?
Yeah, I was. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ayla.
No, I was just gonna say I think there will be a trade. I'm hoping that it happens because I hate the Cowboys. But they're gonna. I think they'll give their 20 and their 12 to the Cardinals, or I'm going with the Cardinals just because they have the 3, and I think they go and get Sonny Styles. I do. I don't think it's a good idea for the Cowboys because they're not one position away from being this great team. But as a Cowboys hater, I'd love to see it.
And that's why you're on this show. No,
Jerry
bring
loves
the Cowboys hate, and you'll keep on coming back.
For me, I agree with Alo. So I had Lemon going to the Rams as well. Just stay that SoCal life. Obviously, we might be into some extracurricular activities over there based on some draft interviews we may have done. So we like to stay there. But no, I went defensive heavy with the Rams. And then in free agency, they saw that. McVay shot me a text and said, "You think you understand our draft process? Watch this," and tore it all up and started re-signing and bringing in every cornerback that they could. So I like it. I like giving McVay some pieces there. I also had Jordan Tyson going to the Ravens. We talked about that last week. We talked about how Lamar hasn't had a true stud receiver. So this might be their swing at trying to bring someone in and give him a true piece. So really like that move as well. Later on, Eagles, I had them looking at Cassius Howell out of Texas A&M. I think he could be another piece there. Give him some juice. You know, the Eagles love to be all about that front 7. They build from the trenches. So I really liked a little piece there. Bills made some moves. I finally got them taking a receiver, Concepcion from Texas A&M as well. So I had some late rounds there. And then I think it's in the late 20s where you see some of the trade backs and things like that. I think there's multiple teams that could get some picks and load up towards the second round.
And my apologies. I just realized on this graphic, it's the exact
it's the old one.
Appreciate you guys not, but this one is different right there. So we got some differences, but yeah, my bad. I was like looking at them like, this is the same photo. So my bad, everybody out there watching.
No, I didn't say anything, but I was like, man, me and Tyler are on point.
Cam got me on that one. I duplicated and then forgot to drag the other photo over. So what I was looking for was, so if I'm reading this right, we've got Alo. No, see, and this should say, wow, I'm on a roll. This is actually Tyler's draft. Right, because it doesn't have. I'm squinting to try and see. No, yeah, that's Ty Simpson.
That one's mine.
Tyler, you do not have Ty Simpson in the first round, correct?
Correct.
That's where I was getting to. So the last couple of weeks, I've been wanting to get to this question, and it was a big thing on ESPN and a lot of their shows. You got the Orlovskis of the world saying he's a first round talent. What you just mentioned there with the Rams, I think they could be an interesting team for a Ty Simpson if McVay is like, hey, that is my guy. Like, I'm putting my fist down that is a quarterback that I want. I could see them taking a swing. I don't know if that's how they feel about Ty Simpson. I personally believe that's what it's going to take for him to be a first round pick. I don't think he's a set it and forget it first round guy. But if there's a team that says, hey, we think we have something here, we're going to get incredible value at the end of the first round. Let's get that 5th-year option. But yeah, why don't you guys settle the debate for us here? Is he actually a first round? Should he be? And is he? And will he be? You can take any of those options there. But yeah, I guess one final defend your case, Alo, on why you think he is, and Tyler, why Ty Simpson is not a first round quarterback.
Yeah, I'm just going to go off this draft class for QBs again is so weak that he becomes like that guy where it's like, oh, he's the second best QB. And there's a couple teams that could use a quarterback. And like the Rams is a good, like you said, a good option for McVay and replacing Stafford when he's done. But I just see the Steelers, like they cannot just keep going every offseason, depending on Aaron Rodgers or older quarterback. They need to, with the new coach, yeah, McCarthy's been there in the NFL, but he needs to establish himself with his QB that he wants. And his QB that is going to be with him for a while is not going to be Aaron Rodgers. And you're always drafting in the 20s. Somehow, I don't know how, but they make the playoffs. It's crazy. But, yeah, I think this is the year for you to go get Ty Simpson. Like I said, maybe he's a good quarterback if he gets in a place where it's a good environment for him. I don't think he can be like the quarterback for the Raiders and change that organization. Absolutely not. But I think the Steelers go and take him and take a chance. Look at last year. Nobody thought Dart was going to be this good. Nobody thought he was going to be great at 20. He got picked at 25, and now we're looking like, should he have been number 1? I don't know. So I do think they should take Ty Simpson in the first round.
I like the pander to the crowd because the Penguins are going to be down at least 0-2 at that point. So those fans are going to need something. Flyers on the board, 1-0. Tyler, come on over. The water's warm. Just be a Flyers fan for the next 2.5 months here. Let's get you on board. But interesting. I could see it. It would definitely be Packers when the Packers took Jordan Love instead of bolstering the roster. It would feel like the exact same move in just deja vu. So I don't think Rodgers comes back, obviously, if they did that. And I think McCarthy probably wants him to come back. Pittsburgh is going to be interesting. We should know, right? He should come out of the darkness and tell us this week before they draft, you would think. But anyway, Tyler, Ty Simpson, not on your first rounder. So I guess we know kind of where you're leaning on this. But why is he not a first round quarterback?
Listen, Orlovsky can pound the table all he wants, but, the film exists. He did come on towards the end of the year. But I think when you look at what it means to be a first-round pick as a quarterback versus getting picked up in a later round, I don't think it matters where you picked at in the first round. Obviously, there's more pressure when it's a top 10 pick, a top 5 pick, a number 1 pick. However, even getting picked in the first round, especially in a town like Pittsburgh with the Steelers and how those fans are and how desperate they have been lately to return to the success of yore. They've made some major changes. Tomlin is out, who has been a centerpiece there for a very long time. And what that defense has meant to that organization. But I don't think they stretch out the pick here. I don't think they're over Will Howard. I think they still I think there's some buzz inside that building that Will Howard can be the guy. And I agree with you, Kevin. I think they can take an offensive tackle like Fernando and strengthen up that line. If they are going to go with Rodgers, if he is coming out of the dark, just one last bump of the Ashawaka or whatever he is taking in the dark room, I think he's gonna give it one more go. And I think the Steelers want to do that as well. He also hates, media and stuff like that. And it was all talk about McCarthy and him had fractured their relationship. So he would love to come out and prove another media story wrong. Look, we can still succeed together. That was just you guys making up stories to tear up the team, blah, blah, blah. So I don't think Ty Simpson is there for the answer. And I don't think he's there anywhere else just because of the value. I think someone would love to get him in the second round give him a little bit of a chip on his shoulder that they didn't value enough. We valued you. We're so happy you fell to us in the second round. It can build him up that way versus putting the pressure on him out of the first round.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Good Ty Simpson feedback with a little bit of dancing on Aaron Rodgers' grave in the middle. So nice, nicely done. Well, yeah, we'll have to post this on X this week, and looking forward to seeing what the Steelers do. I mean, hometown crowd, they're going to be hyped to see what happens. New era. I looked it up here while you guys are talking. Ty Simpson. I mean, you see white quarterback from Alabama. You think like Mac Jones can't really run, but I mean, reports from a 4.39 40-yard dash to a 4.8. The eye test watching him move, he seems more closer. I don't think he's a 4.39, but he's probably in that 4.5, 4.6 range. He can scoot for a quarterback, and so I think he's got some sneaky athleticism and can spin it. So interesting project, but I agree. I don't know if that project type of it would really need to fit for somebody to make that decision. So we will see. Maybe McCarthy, maybe McVay, or give me that guy. So,
yeah.
All righty. Well, thank you guys and girls for joining us this evening. We are not done. We are getting into some AFC West draft needs, kind of go team by team. And then we'll touch on some teams from the NFC as well, because, hey, we're talking NFL draft, NFL stuff tonight. Big week ahead. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to hear me dribble about the Flyers up on the Penguins 1-0. Going to be ticking off all those Pittsburgh fans come NFL draft time. If you want more ridiculous content like that, Saturdays at 6 p.m., go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And again, we thank you for spending some time with us this evening out of your busy day. Yeah, without further ado, let's get into some more NFL content. All righty, Alo, why don't you take us? You got some AFC West draft needs. We hijacked your topic last week, but we'll throw it back here with your favorite, everybody's favorite quarterback in America, old Patty Mahomes, or wherever you want to start in the AFC West. But take us away here. What do you got for us?
Of course, I just want to give a shout out to Tyler because I think he did a great job. And I also think, I like what he said about his Colts and stuff. So I think he did a great job last week. As I was at Disney having the time of my life. But,
you signed any babies' heads or anything or no?
Yeah, man. Everybody noticed me there.
Everybody noticed. That's right. We made it, Mom.
But so starting with the AFC West, let's start with the team that's dominated that whole division for a while, the Chiefs. I think Patrick Mahomes is a star. I think they need three main parts of positions. I would say cornerback, receiver, and pass rusher. But I think the problem is this is what I would like them to have. I would like them to have Bain and Denzel Boston, but I think both of them get taken. So I think they go Jordan Tyson and Averill Terrell. I just can't bet against Patrick Mahomes. It's starting to become like betting against Tom Brady, man. I just can't. I can't do it. So with that being said, Kevin, man, is Patrick Mahomes still the best quarterback in the NFL? And if not, who is? Please don't say Jalen Hurts, for the love of God. Please do not say Jalen Hurts. I just want to learn, since this is Alo's segment, how do I pause Kevin or take him off? Take him off the cliff.
You can't. I can pause or take you off. No. Tyler, we're well under the under so far, but we've got a lot of time
it's coming.
to trigger. I think that counts. I think that's going to count as a trigger because I'm biased, but I wouldn't have said I'm happy he's my QB1. I think it's so hard because Mahomes has done enough to prove that he is the best quarterback. Like that for everything you want a quarterback to do, including winning Super Bowls.
Yeah.
He's proven it. He can do all the crazy throws. He can play and dissect defenses. He's got it between the ears and the arms. So it's hard to say Josh Allen is a better quarterback, given that he hasn't won in the playoffs. And I know Booker's cringing hearing me say that. So, this is tough. This is a tough one. But I think I'm going to say Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. Begrudgingly, because he's earned it. Not because I like him or I want his little Kermit the Frog. Come here, guys. But he has proven. And so, yeah, bet against the Chiefs. I think this draft and drafts prove like hey, you have to build around good players. Like the Chiefs got old fast, and so I mean, you hate to do the Tom Brady comparisons, but Brady had that early run, young Tom Brady, fresh out of Michigan, looking like he looked, went into the darkness, came out in the 2010s and lit it back on fire when they rebuilt that team. And so, yeah, they were good. They made some like little runs, but there was a little break there where they're retooling the team. And so I think that's what the Chiefs are doing. You got a good coach, you got a good GM. So he needs help. Even good quarterbacks need players around them, and they need to continue to get young and nail this draft. And so, yeah, unfortunately, I will say he's the best quarterback. And it just happens to be that my quarterback beat him once in the biggest game and should have beaten him twice if he would have got the ball back. So I'm not triggered. I'm just spitting the facts here, Ayla.
No, I get it. Jalen Hurts needs some love after all his teammates trying. I get it. That's two. I was just gonna say my next question, Tyler. I know we get tired of hearing the GOAT's name, Patrick Mahomes, but will he be back? I'm telling you right now, man.
The GOAT.
These doctors. Well, the GOAT of the NFL now, not GOAT over Tom Brady. Current GOAT. Well,
the current GOAT. I don't know if you go current GOAT, but all right, go ahead. Sorry, Alo. I'm not going to interrupt you.
But no, yeah, I was gonna say with the medicine today, man, they would probably have all three of us throwing 70 yards these days. But no, do you think he gets back on the field week 1? And my next, I'm gonna give you 2 parts to this because I know Kevin's gonna like this one. Did the Chiefs dynasty end? And did the Eagles crush that empire on the last Super Bowl? Or do you think they just had a down year?
I'm going with it's just a down year. Patrick Mahomes does seem to not be human. If I'm the Chiefs, though, let me get a little crazy on you. If I'm the Chiefs, I don't start him right off the bat. I take it easy. I let him fully recover. It's not worth it. And I think if the draft falls the way it potentially could, I think they do add to that defense. And I think if you give Spags another piece, if you give him a Bane or you give him another big edge rusher, then that defense can carry them through a good portion of the early season and let Andy Reid do his thing and get the offensive just enough to get him some wins. So he will be back. I don't know that it's week 1. I think it was up to him. It would be week 1. But if I'm the Chiefs, I'm trying to protect him from himself. Now, as far as is the dynasty over, I don't think so. I think Patrick Mahomes is kind of showing some. Let me go to the flip side on Aaron Rodgers. Every time Aaron Rodgers, we thought he was dead and out, he would come back and he would just be on this revenge tour. I think this season could look like a Mahomes revenge tour, especially if Spags gets a defensive piece and it just keeps giving Mahomes the ball over and over and over again. I think he is looking to just light everything on fire and prove that he is still the best quarterback in football right now. So, yeah, give it. I don't think it's over. I think maybe, if anything, we woke a sleeping giant and he comes back maybe a little ticked off.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, honestly, if I was the Chiefs, I would probably sit him out for a period of time just because, dude, can you imagine if you get Vane this year and Jeremiah Smith next year? That'd be
crazy. They're not getting Jeremiah Smith next year. Why are the Chiefs getting Jeremiah Smith? How are they getting him?
That boy Kevin's having a heart attack on that side.
I don't know, man. All right, let's keep it moving here. Jeremiah Smith to the Chiefs. Get that out of here. Get that out of here.
Broncos. They addressed what they needed in the offseason. They addressed Waddle, unfortunately, from my Miami Guppies, because they still to this day don't know what they're doing. I'm 32, about to be 33. I can only imagine the other Dolphins fans out there that had to deal with this even longer. But we're not talking about the Dolphins. We're talking about the Broncos. I think the Broncos are actually the most complete team in the AFC. At pick 62, I think they can add Eli Stowers. I'm pretty sure he went to Vanderbilt. Yes. And I mean, that's a good tight end they can add at 62, because honestly, that might be their only weakest position. But with that being said, Kevin, are the Broncos the new Chiefs? Did they steal the throne from the Chiefs in that division?
I mean, the new Chiefs, I think you have to prove it over the course of time. Where I will say there's an argument is last year they obviously beat the Chiefs in the regular season, and even the year before when the Chiefs made it to the Super Bowl, the Broncos played them really well, and I think they were like a blocked kick or something away from beating them twice that year, and so they seem to have a little bit of that Spurs number over the Thunders we talked about early in the show. So I don't know if they're the next Chief. Sorry, Crew Talk Sports, but you got to continue to prove it. You can't. It's 1 year is great. They were a very unlucky injury away from a likely Super Bowl run. I think they just have to keep nailing draft picks, bringing in guys that fit the Sean Payton culture, and I think they're going to be just fine. Continue to bring in talented players like an Eli Stowers, or it didn't really work out with Evan Ingram, but I think there's some really good tight ends in this class. So that would be. That would be a really good way for them to go, and then just make your strength even better. Like that defense is so good. Continue to make that, make that strong now that you've got your wide receivers locked up for the next 5 to 7 years. So I think, from a talent perspective, you could argue that the Broncos have a more talented roster this year than the Chiefs had at any point with the high. Tyreek Hill was a really talented wide receiver, but they pretty much only had Tyreek. I guess they had Kelsey, and so he's a wide receiver. That's your two pass catchers, like the Broncos have this year. But it's a talented team. I think they certainly can continue the success, but it's the not for long league for a reason. So you got to go out there and do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that leads up to my next question, Tyler. Are the Broncos the favorite to win the Super Bowl, and will Bo Nix win MVP? I don't know.
Listen, Crew Talk Sports, earmuffs for a second. No, they're not. I don't think so. Listen, Sean Payton was already stirring some drama with Bo Nix in the injury concerns and things like that. Now, they went and got him a piece. They went and got him Waddle. I think that defense is stacked. I think Sean Payton and that offense can absolutely cook. But just like I said, I think the Chiefs are going to be a problem coming back. I think they're going to be on a revenge tour. I think they're going to want to remind everyone. I think it's not lost on them that everybody probably is going to take the Broncos over them in this upcoming season. I think the Broncos may even be the favorite once we get to the season to win that division. And I think it's going to tick the Chiefs off just a little bit. So, no, I don't think so. I don't think they will be the favorite to win the Super Bowl, and I don't think Bo Nix snags an MVP.
All right. Hey, now, the team I wanted to talk about. It's very simple strategy. I don't know. It is the Raiders. We don't know. But I hope they pick Fernando Mendoza because, listen, when I was watching them play the Hurricanes in the national championship, I am a Hurricanes fan. And when he said I would die for my team out there, I'm thinking, what team am I rooting for? I want to be – dude, do you need some water? What do you need? I want to be on that dude's team. I want him to be on my team. I would love to give everything I got from the Dolphins and just give it to them to get them. So I think they should go and get Fernando Mendoza. And I think they've actually held Fernando Mendoza before he's even on the team. They really did good on the offseason. But with that being said, Tyler, this question is for you because I know Fernando Mendoza is your boy. Is there any way the Raiders trade the number 1 overall pick? Remember, it's the Raiders. There's a couple teams in the NFL where we go, they could do something stupid. They're one of them. Let's say the Jets offer the 2nd overall pick, the 16th pick, and the Jets' 2027 pick. Do you say yes to this, Tyler? Or do you block everyone's calls and turn in the card for Mendoza?
Listen, I think the card might already be turned in. But if there are two teams that could figure this out and screw it up, it's them. So give me the Raiders taking that draft load. The Jets go up. They listen to Dan Orlovsky, and they take Ty Simpson.
That would be electric.
Overall.
At 16.
And it's the first big shock. The whole world is burning down afterwards. Dogs and cats sleeping together. It's mayhem. But, yes, that's what it would look like if it ever got pulled off. But no. it's not. That card's turned in.
Yeah, I as for Raiders fans in Las Vegas, I hope so because it's gonna be crazy if they don't.
I'm just saying, Tyler, if that comes true, that YouTube short is doing no less than 5 million views come Thursday
minimum.
night. That scenario right there, if that happens, incredible. And that's not why you said it, but if it does, those are the two teams that could certainly. Now, I'd like to think with Tom Brady puppet mastering behind the scenes, the Raiders are a little. They're slowly moving out of the slop of the Jets and the Bills and the Dolphins type of franchises, but they definitely are still in that camp, and that would be incredible if they did all that to take Ty Simpson. Oh, hey, what a Jets move that would be.
Poor Booker, you put the Bills before the Browns. Oh man, dude. But no, my next question. If the Raiders take Mendoza, which we know they most likely will, hopefully, and he starts week 1 because he performed well in training camp and in preseason, does Mendoza lead the Raiders to the playoffs like Daniels and Stroud did?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's enough talent on the Raiders team to make the playoffs. There is enough. Do they get there in year 1 with a new coach and a rookie quarterback? I think, the Daniels, the Strouds, it without looking at those teams of like, hey, how talented were those rosters they inherit? Not only talented, but did they have the veteran leadership to take them to the playoffs? But it's going to be tough in that AFC West, as we're talking AFC West draft needs. When you've got 3 playoff teams, clearly ahead of them, it's going to be hard playing those teams 6 times a year to see that happening for the Raiders. So I think the answer is no. And I honestly, I just think Kirk Cousins is going to start the year as the quarterback. Why not let him go out there, take a beating? Their coach came out recently very much in favor of, hey, let's have a grown man run the offense, take the punishment, show him how to do it. I think that is an excellent model when you have the ability to do that. Again, if Mendoza comes in like a if Mendoza comes in like a Russell Wilson and just like they cannot not start him, he's that good in camp, then I get it. Or I think it would be more Kirk Cousins looks like absolute trash rather than Mendoza lighting it up in camp. It would be my estimation of like, wow, Cousins just does not have it anymore. We've got to start the young guy. If Cousins can do anything, which I think he still can, operate an offense, I think he's the guy for at least a couple weeks.
Yeah, no, I agree. But moving on to the Chargers, I think they need help at wide receiver. They need to take Lemon or Boston. But also, do the Chargers just simply have bad luck with quarterbacks? Because they had Drew Brees in that room at one point in time, didn't win anything. They had Phillip Rivers at one point in time, didn't win anything. And now they have Justin Herbert, and he has not won anything. Actually, he kind of gave up like a 30-point deficit against the Jaguars. So doesn't look good for him. So my question – go ahead.
No, I'm just laughing with you. Go ahead.
No, yeah. I was going to say, my question to you, Tyler, if the Chargers can get a good wide receiver in the draft, do you think Herbert can break the curse of Chargers quarterbacks struggling in the playoffs?
I do. I don't know that it's wide receiver that fixes it. They have some offensive line issues. I know they could get some other pieces in the second round. I think they could go wide receiver there in the first round and give him some extra help. I think that defense is pretty solid, but they're going to be facing some real decisions if the Chargers don't live up to expectations again this year. I think Herbert has all the talent in the world, and I think he's just going to take it on the chin, and he's kind of that pro's pro when it comes to being a quarterback. But I think I don't know that wide receiver alone gets them over the hump. I think they need a lot of depth work on that offensive line, and they need to keep him healthy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, can I interrupt something there with the offensive line? I mean, they should have one of the best O-lines in the NFL, but it is, is there a substation next to their practice facility or something? Because that's what it seems. Last year had to be just something, but I'm just going top to bottom here. Rashawn Slater, Trevor Penning, first round pick, I believe. Tyler Biadasz, proven all-pro type center. Cole Strange, okay, maybe he's the weak spot. And then Joe Alt, top 5, top 10 pick. So, like, if healthy, with a Harbaugh-led team who wants to, I like making the strength stronger and like take more O linemen. Like, it is a battle, war of attrition. These guys getting rolled up on and stuff. But I think last year was a freaky year of injuries, and they still did. It did okay. But I don't know. I'm not ready to throw out, give up on the Chargers and Herbert yet, because Harbaugh. I think they got the right Harbaugh as their coach. I think he has done more with less than I would say John has. Not to ragdoll on the Harbaughs, but I mean Harbaugh has won the Super Bowl. But I just think of him taking Colin Kaepernick to the Super Bowl. He was playing ridiculously good that year, but like in hindsight, that looks like a ridiculous feat of coaching skill. And so I just want to. I think that Harbaugh and Herbert will have some success, at least make a Super Bowl at some point in their tenure. But the AFC is certainly not going to make that easy.
Yeah, no, and with that being said, Kevin, the question for you, the last question of the day for the AFC West. If the Chargers have a bad year or struggle in the playoffs and lose in the first round, who does the front office blame, Herbert or Jim Harbaugh? And who does the management move on from first? Who do they get rid of first? Because at some point, you can't keep making excuses for Herbert. I mean, you gave him Jim Harbaugh, so.
Who's the GM for the Chargers? Do we know that? I don't think it's going to be here on this.
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, off the top of my head.
But I love
Joe Hortiz. Joe Hortiz. Okay. A Harbaugh guy. That's who, like, in my mind, when I think of the Chargers, Harbaugh is the GM, and then he has a guy doing, when you bring in a coach like that with that much gravitas, you are bringing them in to run the whole operation. Now, yes, he's not writing contracts and scouting players and doing all of those things. You still need to have a general manager, but I think that those two are very much connected. I don't think that they're going to necessarily be, firing the GM after this year if it doesn't work out like planned. It seems like the Chargers have a very patient fan base. They're not going to be. I mean, they played in a high school stadium for a couple of years. Like they're not. The fans aren't going to be that worried if they don't win the Super Bowl this year, like some other teams would be. They want to succeed, but I don't even know who the owner of the Chargers is, but it seems like they're going to be pretty patient with this regime to figure it out. But if someone needs to get fired first, I'm going to take the GM. I think they fire the GM first and then give Harbaugh a little longer leash with a longer, track record that he's proven in the NFL. Yeah. So, well, look at us. We're running out of time tonight. I want to try and in my mind, I want to say, let's do a special edition Wednesday night, but it's just probably not going to work. To get into some NFC draft needs, we are out of time this evening, so keep an eye out on the X account. Maybe we try and put something together. No promises. If not, we look forward to seeing what the NFC teams do as well. We just got through all the AFC East teams. So again, Alo, thank you for putting that together. Again, we are here Saturdays, 6 p.m., plus or minus, usually a little after. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. You can give Tyler a follow on X at Mr. Diesel31 at Alo Leagues. Next week, Duffy and Booker, hopefully they'll be back. And until further ado, we'll see you guys next time.